Hello everyone, and welcome to another Fallout New Vegas build. In preparation for Fallout 76, I've been going back and playing previous Fallout games. The Lawbringer is the character I've been using in New Vegas, a cyber sheriff who trusts in his weapons to bring justice to the cruel land he finds himself in. If you're looking for a specific section, check the timestamps in the description, and if you want more Fallout content, then make sure you subscribe now and hit the notification bell. The special stats for this build are Strength 5, Perception 6, Endurance 8, a Charisma of 1, Intelligence 6, Agility 8 and Luck 6. Strength needs to be at 5 in order for us to correctly handle both of our weapons. I put Perception up to 6 for a bit of extra VATS accuracy. Endurance is at 8 in order for the character to actually be able to take a few hits without worry, something that is critical if you're playing on the higher difficulties. Charisma is bottomed out as 1. Actions matter more to the Lawbringer than words. Intelligence is relatively low for a New Vegas build, sitting only at 6. You don't have many skills you need to focus on, so intelligence isn't a huge priority. Agility is our joint highest stat, sitting at 8. This helps most of all with boosting our movement speed, ensuring we can traverse rapidly around the map. Finally, we have Luck at 6. Better to have a little luck on your side after all. The traits I chose for this build were Skilled and Good-Natured. These tend to be my default choices, as I almost always find their downsides are minimal and the upsides are great for any character. Skilled gives you a bonus 5 points to every skill, but reduces your XP gain by 10%. I've personally never seen this as a problem, as the game has a level cap, so all this means is that you reach that cap a little later on. Good-Natured lowers all your combat skills by 5, and raises your utility skills by 5. The lowering of skills is already balanced out by the skilled trait, so you effectively start the game with a bunch of useful skills higher than they'd normally be. For tag skills, I chose melee weapons, repair, and survival. I find that the early boost to melee adds an incentive for me to use it from the start. This also comes in handy for not having to worry about ammo levels, which can sometimes be of concern at the beginning of the game. Repair is probably the most important skill in the game. Look after your equipment, and it will look after you. Survival is our healing skill. You run across plenty of animals around Vegas, and being able to cook their meat will provide you with a steady supply of healing items as you travel around. As additional skills, I went for energy weapons and sneak. Your ranged weapon is an energy weapon, so you're going to want this skill to be nice and high. I decided not to worry about having it as a tag skill though, as early on energy weapons tend to be of limited use, as you don't stumble across as many of them, and the correct ammo can be hard to come by. Sneak is the least important of the 5 skills I have talked about, however it certainly can come in handy. Getting the drop on the enemy is always advisable, so you want to make sure you can almost always see your target before they see you. You will of course have plenty more points to invest into whatever other skills you find useful. I was happy to call this build complete at around level 20, which meant I had only invested 10 perks. 2 perks that I always go for are Educated and Jewelry Rigging. More skill points and an easier time fixing your gear. What's not to like? As for some other perks I would recommend, Travel Light will offer you greater movement speed, always a nice advantage to have. Better Criticals, Purifier and Sneering Imperialist all buff your damage outputs in various ways, and Them's Good Eating will provide you with a large array of healing items off of any living creature you kill. The Lawbringer wields 2 weapons, a katana and the YCS-186. The katana will be a close range weapon, and you'll want to mod it out to be as strong as it can be. Not only is this weapon fast and powerful, but it has a really cool lunging power attack. Just hold down the attack button and you'll do a charging slash that is incredibly satisfying to kill enemies with. The YCS-186 is our long range weapon. This is the unique variant of the Ghost Rifle, and it packs one hell of a punch. The downside is that it consumes 4 ammo per shot, and you have to reload after every time you fire, making it a slow weapon that requires you to be accurate. Fortunately, most enemies will go down in a single shot, so as long as you don't miss, you shouldn't have much to worry about. For armour, you will wear the Sheriff's Hat and Duster. Additionally, you can throw on a pair of sunglasses if you feel so inclined. This set is obviously done for the look of the character, as opposed to stat bonuses. It won't provide much defense, so make sure you're not getting stuck in the middle of a firefight. Factions for this build are going to vary from player to player. Instead of picking a specific faction for you to side with, I want you to pick the side that the Lawbringer would go with. He wants to bring law and order to the chaos of the wastes, but how you choose to do so is up to you. Will the NCR or Caesar's Legion be the better choice for keeping order? The NCR is more merciful, but the Legion is stronger. Maybe you believe that House and his army of robots are the only way to bring order, or maybe he's too focused on the strip, and you should be the one to replace him. No matter who you side with, make sure you're confident that it's the right choice for setting up law and order all across the Mojave. I didn't travel with any followers, which has become a bit of a running joke for me, I guess, but which followers you do side with may change depending on the faction you side with. Regardless of who you end up travelling with, make sure they're determined to uphold the laws that you're fighting for. This build isn't too complicated to play. The YCS is your long-range weapon, and then when the enemy gets close, you switch over to the katana. I wouldn't advise relying on the YCS for too long whilst enemies are getting close, as the reload animation has to play out before you can switch weapons. Make sure in combat you stay mobile, because this character cannot take a lot of hits before health really starts getting down. You want to avoid getting shot at as much as possible. As for role-playing, your sole goal is to restore order to the wastes. Killing raiders, protecting innocents, and applying justice are all activities you will want to engage in. I'd particularly recommend sorting out the sheriff problem at Prim, as that plays in well to the character, and has a few different ways you can resolve it, depending on how you end up siding. When the Lawbringer looks out over the Mojave, he sees a land in need of order and justice. For too long have the lands around New Vegas been beset by raiders and mutants. Unlike most of the inhabitants of a post-apocalypse, the Lawbringer isn't accepting of how things are. He wants to bring back civilization in a way that's more than just buildings still standing. He'd seen his family murdered by raiders, and watched too many communities burn to the ground in his time. He had tried to just accept things the way they were, to get a job and live as honest a life as possible, but Benny had ruined that for him. A simple courier job still landed him in the thick of things, having raiders capture him and put a bullet in his head. Nobody else seemed interested in pursuing justice, and truly making the land civilized once more. He'd read in pre-war books about the times when you could walk through towns without fear of a knife in your back, about a time where people trusted one another, and didn't feel the need to carry a small arsenal with them wherever they walked. They needed a real government in office, one that was respected, and not just another group looking to gain control of land and power. He didn't know enough about the NCR or the Legion to make a judgment on them, but he didn't hold out much hope either way. There needed to be a catalyst to start the change that was so desperately needed across the land. When he awoke in Doc Mitchell's house, he knew that he had to be the one that sorted out the Mojave. Thank you all for watching this Fallout New Vegas build. I likely won't be making too many more of these, as I'll be focusing on getting a couple of big Skyrim projects done before I start covering Fallout 76. If you're a fan of Skyrim or the upcoming Fallout game, then make sure you're subscribed and check out the content I've already made. If you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to hit the like button so I know, and feel free to share the video with anyone still playing New Vegas. As always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.